Funhaus is sponsored by ExpressVPN. Don't let your internet provider see all the sites you visit. Hide your browsing activity at expressvpn.com/dude.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Funhaus Podcast. I'm Armando Torres, and with me we have Ryan Haley.
Hey.
We've got Jacob Fullerton.
A Ryan symbiote.
And we've got James
How dare
Willows.
you?
Hey.
What's up, man?
What happened there?
I wasn't expecting a personal introduction to me. I usually just and here's everybody, and I go hi, but
No.
this is I was on the spot.
You're my honored guest.
Oh, thank you,
Ryan.
I'm happy to be here. Honored to be here.
Ryan Everett Haley.
Well, he asked my middle name before that, so that's
No, I just knew
announcement. Oh, okay.
We're just good friends like that.
I don't know about that.
What?
You're just using information that you... This has happened at me once at a Christmas party where I thought someone was befriending me, but it turns out that they were just gathering information so they could write Christmas riddles for everyone.
Why would I ever do something like that? James Anthony Williams.
Well, you got my last name wrong.
I said Willems.
No,
No, you absolutely did
said
not. We're going
Williams.
to roll that back. So
By the tape,
you learned
by
the
the
middle.
tape.
No, no,
You learned
no,
the
no,
middle,
no,
lost
no.
the last.
Yeah, you
I
only
was
know
so focused
much.
on getting Anthony right.
Jim Anthony Williams.
Nailed it.
If you're watching this at home, you can't go back. Legally, you're not allowed to rewind.
No, no one will.
Yeah. Fuck you, Scott.
Onward and upward.
How many of us have our dad's names as our middle names?
Is Scott your
Everett.
dad's name?
Scott's my dad's name. yeah.
Everett or Rhett is my dad's name. So
Alright.
interesting. Is your Tony?
No, mine is named after a cousin who died young.
Mm.
Oh,
I'm
dude,
sorry
that's
about
my
that.
full name. Yeah. I got named after a guy who got shot in the head.
Ow.
We have uncreative parents, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's my my mom was a huge fan of the Neverending Story. And she wanted to name
Me
me,
too.
Atreyu.
Oh, okay.
And then she wanted to name
After
me
the
Sebastian.
band, also named after the movie.
They were, and then they saw him come out, and they were like, maybe he's an Artax.
Yeah. Mom really, really wanted to name me after one of those two characters, and then my dad was like, yeah. My brother was murdered, and my mom was like, all right, I guess that trumps a good movie.
But one's a hero, and the other got murdered.
Yeah. Well, he could have been a hero.
But he wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
So
Okay.
Sorry.
Moving on.
Yeah. You
wow.
doing good?
I'm doing great. How are
Yeah.
you doing?
I'm doing good.
You've already
What'd
been
you
put
do
on the
this
spot.
weekend?
What I do this weekend?
Yeah.
I went to see James Bond, and I went.
Hey!
Jesus.
That's a quick interruption right there.
Oh my God.
You betcha.
The hell?
We'll get back to you right in a second. But we've got more important things. There it is. There it is. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Mount Up for Morbius. We are year 2, closing in on year 3.
God.
And this is a big one for us. As you know, Venom is in theaters. And Venom is part of the, what is it? The SMAC?
The
Smack?
Sony
The Sony Mutant
SMAC.
Alternative Cinematic Universe
Something
or
like
whatever.
that.
Smack you.
And I know a pretty big part of that. It's Morbius. That's right. You can't have your own MCU without your very own Smack Iron Man Morbius. So
Yeah, I wish that wasn't on the screen.
this week, we get to know more about Morbius, more about the character, sometimes about the actors that portray Morbius and what have you. This week, I am very excited to announce that Mount Up for Morbius has acquired exclusive Morbius news. That's right.
I don't believe it.
Someone reached out to me. An anonymous source reached out to me.
To you, Jimmy
Oh my
Williams?
God.
To me, Jimmy Tony Williams, to say that they have Morbius exclusive news, and they came to the right place because we are the premier source
Hell yeah.
for sharing Morbius news, everybody. And
Let's mount up for it.
I got rid of all the
Yeah.
private information.
Yeah.
It's been properly censored. I will never reveal my sources, and let that be a lesson to anyone out there who Sony Pictures, you're going to try and come at us hard, or other people out there who also might have Morbius news out in the wings. I'm your man. You can trust me, okay?
Yeah, be a whistleblower.
Be a whistle. Blow your whistle to me, and make sure there's bats in
Blow
the presence
him.
because
Yeah.
he has sonar
Blow him.
powers. So I leaked by an anonymous source. I was provided with this image. Can we see it up on the screen? this image.
Ooh.
It is a shipping label, okay, that apparently was sent to some sort of movie chain somewhere in the world, okay? And according to my source, it contained a hard drive, which is how assets are shared now digitally. Movies arrive on hard drives, but also trailers arrive on hard drives.
Whoa.
And this package was labeled with this. Can we zoom in? Right here. Morbius!
Oh my God.
We received a Morbius package, a hard drive labeled Morbius at their theaters. So, folks.
Does that say Morbius or Morblus? Morblus.
Yeah, well, maybe it's a typo, but Morbius is using codename Morblus to try and avoid this kind of attention.
Are you sure it's just not a person's last name? Morblus?
I
John
assure
Morblus?
you, folks, that my source believes that this is an actual new trailer probably coming for Morbius ASAP. So I'm going to recommend everyone head out to the theaters sometime this week, maybe next, maybe as soon as this weekend.
You
we
think
could
like
be seeing this new trailer rolling in front
you
of
think
us.
like Dune might have the Morbius trailer?
I
in
think
it?
if they want the most eyes on it, that's where you put it, right?
I went and saw Venom in theaters. And Venom II.
Yeah.
Let There Be Carnage.
Okay.
In the movie theater.
Yeah.
And when I went, there was an ad for Morbius.
Really?
There was a trailer beforehand?
There was a trailer for Morbius, yeah. I don't think it was one that I had seen previously.
So that you may have already gotten a sneak peek at the new trailer.
Wow.
So that's huge. It may already be rolling out. So this is a word of the wise. Get out to your local theaters and check out any movie you can to try and see if I would actually say hit the theater 3 or 4 times in the weekend if you can.
Yeah.
You know, movies you've already seen, movies you want to see again. Check it out. Because that'll just better increase the odds. You know, you see people playing Twitch streams with Pokemon cards, opening Pokemon packs. That's not worth anything. Imagine getting to see a new Morbius trailer.
Yeah.
As soon as it's
Imagine
released.
opening up a pack of Pokemon cards and seeing a new Morbius trailer.
Could you imagine? I mean, there's Bat Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
Zubats and Golbats.
There you go.
That's all I can remember.
So
And if you take their blood and put it in your blood from your hand,
yeah.
like your Jesus Christ, you will turn into a
Jared Leto.
Yeah, you will turn into a Jared Leto, who is also in a trailer for The House of Gucci, and I didn't realize it was him until the trailer told me it was him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he
just thought it was
transforms.
a
Yeah.
weird looking guy.
It's almost, they say it's Jared Leto, and then they show 4 back-to-back different shots of him in the movie where they're like, Jared Leto is fat and bald.
Yeah.
One of them's his head from the Met Gala
Yeah.
last year or whatever.
But that I would say that concludes this episode of Mount Up for Morbius.
What are they waiting for?
Morbius?
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
there it is. All right. I would say that they're waiting for the perfect timing, but I think they were just waiting for Venom 2 to come out. But
Got it.
I would also say that this whole podcast is a Mount Up for Morbius, right?
Yeah.
Because
it
what are
is.
we doing on this podcast?
We're talking about Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage.
The prequel to Morbius.
The prequel to Morbius?
Whoa.
Or as it was called on my rip,
Your
Venom
rip?
2, Carnage.
Are you
There Be
admitting to having watched a digital?
I
Yes, I
asked,
am.
Is
It
a
was-
crime being committed on this podcast?
I asked Ryan, hey man, can you make it out to the movie theaters this weekend? And he goes, no, I can't. I have no time to make it out to the movies.
I only had 3
at-
hours to go to Bond.
I have no time at any point to go to the movie theater this weekend
Yeah.
at all.
I know what you're saying.
And he said, send me if you can find me like a bootleg copy. And I was like, bet. And so I looked everywhere
It's
and
a lot
I
of
found
accountability. I don't remember him saying that.
Yeah.
And I don't remember
wouldn't-
you finding one.
Yeah, none of
did
this
it.
happened.
I had no
don't-
part of this.
I saw
Yeah.
the movie in theaters. I had a ticket
As
Yeah.
did
in
I.
a movie theater.
I mean, I talked about it when I was on Filmhouse and saw A Quiet Place 2. I saw the movie in a theater that I paid money to be in.
Are you doing quotation?
No,
marks?
yeah.
And I
For
saw
the audio
and
listeners
and
at home, he's doing
I
it in
thought the
quotation
weirdest part
marks.
of that movie was how many ads there were for online slot games.
Yeah, me too. I agree.
Yeah.
That's what happened to me in Venom too. I'm like, literally the first time it happened, I'm like, is this part of the film? And I'm like, oh no, this is a slot machine commercial in the middle of the movie.
That's weird. I don't remember that from the theater in which I saw Venom 2.
I remember there was a trailer, there's some popcorn.
All right, we can move on
There was
from this crime that we're discussing.
There's like a pack of 13-year-olds screaming the whole time.
No, that was part of it. That was part of the rip.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's
We
that
all
part?
saw Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage, or Venom 2, Carnage
There will be.
Reigns.
It
What
was a
called?
whole other word that it was Spanish or something like that.
Oh,
It was
yeah,
Or something like
it's
that.
Carnage something. I don't know. Anyway,
Okay. Yeah, we all saw Venom 2, and we all loved it. We were just talking before this podcast. Why are you guys giving me a weird face? We all loved the movie.
Before this podcast started, I said we should try and think of things that we did like or can defend about Venom 2 because I don't want this podcast to be all about dunking on it.
I have several things that I liked about Venom.
I think
me
I'm going to be
too,
the
me
biggest
too.
defender here. I mean, I didn't love the movie, but I definitely I appreciate the populist nature, let's call it, of what
online
they were going
subplot.
for.
Yeah.
just how gloriously stupid it was, but I think kind of on purpose,
Okay.
But
Do
we
you
can
think
get into
that's
that.
what they were going for, though? Because that was the
Yeah.
big defense of Venom 1. Is like they were trying to make it garbage, and I was like, I don't think that they were.
Well, I think that somehow Tom Hardy's a good, like, everyman kind of guy. I think he plays that thing well.
Is he?
I don't think so.
Not in a traditionally good way, but in
Yeah.
like a way
Yeah.
that, like, I don't know. I have a lot of friends that love Venom, and I like Venom too and stuff. And then Venom also.
Yeah. Well, in that first one, he
and-
talks like a big baby, and that makes him endearing.
And I do think that it was like a disaster of a production. Like I think that it was the guy who did Zombieland. I forget his name.
Woody
Fleischer.
Harrelson.
Yeah, Ruben Flesher, and then you got Avi Arad producing it, and he's like notoriously, he's messing with your script
Yeah.
and the directing. He's doing all his own shit. So I think that it did kind of turn out like a mess, but somehow it made $1 billion.
It's also like generally thought of as a character that's an extension of another character. I mean,
That's
Venom is
true.
inherently a spin-off, and they didn't spin it off of anything.
Yeah.
They were just like, no, there's enough to go on here.
And on top of that, it's also traditionally seen as like a hard R, like fucked up kind of
comparatively, like I mean,
violent Spider-Man or something, and then it was like a PG-13
yeah,
popcorn movie. So
Yeah.
people were like, "All right, that's not the true."
Yeah,
Yeah, because he's usually a bad
do
guy,
Venom
right?
better.
He's
Yeah.
usually a
he's the
villain.
lethal
to-
protector,
Oh,
which
okay.
this number 2 reminds you of again and again. And
Right.
I get it. That's what the comic was called. I get it.
I really liked that they were brave enough to say that what the movie was in the title. Number 2.
They did. Carnage. The word carnage is
'Cause it's
stated
caca.
is 3 times.
Yeah.
So
I always love I love a movie that says the title
Oh, yeah.
inside of the
You have to
movie.
throw
When
your
you get a
popcorn
Woody
in there.
Harrelson yelling into the night,
Yeah.
"Let there be carnage!"
which also, by the way, at the end of Venom 1, he says there will be carnage, and I'm like, which is it, Woody?
Yeah.
Oh.
I will say, I liked in Venom 2 is that Woody
We save
Harrelson's.
these? I feel like we need to sprinkle these. Here.
Oh, baby, this isn't the big one though. This
Okay,
is the
okay,
big one.
okay.
Okay, what I liked in Let There Be Carnage is that Woody Harrelson's hair did not look as bad as it did at the end of the first Venom.
It looks pretty good.
Yeah,
It was a different Party City wig, yeah.
I thought it looked pretty good.
I guess.
It looked better than the hairpiece that you wear.
That's true. That's true. But he has better people. So
Yeah,
I mean, think about the budget difference between this podcast and Venom 2. Like he should.
You just
better
have
hair.
me.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And I don't have any spirit glue or anything, so I just lick it real good and then put it
they
on.
didn't either.
And it's all from your body.
Yeah.
You just pull it off your body in places.
Yeah.
Gross.
A lot of people ask, why did you hire Armando? Like, a lot of people ask that constantly. And in really mean ways, too.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, really hurtful, demeaning ways.
Yeah.
But the reason that they don't see is because I'm covered in hair.
Yeah, you're
And
fuzzy.
I'm constantly shaving it so that
I'm
you can-
constantly envious of you.
Yeah.
like a dog's
Hairless.
Well, it's because they used all your hair. Did you
Oh,
say it's
okay.
hair like a dog?
I said it's like a dog's undercoat. It
Ah.
just keeps coming off.
Oh yeah.
I misheard you, and I thought you were. I don't know why I thought you were making a reference to Joss. He's got hair like a dog's hair.
Oh, like a doll's eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like
you
a
didn't
dog
like the
said.
movie.
I liked parts of it. I
Yeah.
really liked that if you ask a girl to go, she'll go with you, and then
Okay.
like you less afterwards.
Is that what happened to you?
Yeah, it is what happened to me.
Okay.
She looked at me and she said, "That was really bad," and then we just sat in silence for about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Waiting for that post-credits scene.
Yeah,
We'll get there.
Yeah,
I
we'll get there.
really loved the Eminem song at the end.
There's
Not-
now we have 2 Eminem songs.
Yeah.
And one of them is canon in the world of Venom
What?
because when Venom goes to the club
That's right.
and comes out of the closet, the song is being sung, which means that in the song promoting the movie in the first movie exists in the world of
Yeah.
Venom.
Mhm.
I did not put. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Fuck,
Are we
God
spoiling
damn.
Venom? Are we spoiling things in this? Or are we just
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We should,
yeah.
we should big spoiler hold off
Okay.
on the
Until the
on
end.
the end.
okay?
Yeah. Are there spoilers?
I guess.
I mean,
course there are.
I knew the entire plot of Venom walking into Venom just by
Yeah.
looking
Yeah.
at the. I mean, the poster
Yeah.
even.
I mean,
Yeah.
like both these movies are pretty self-contained.
Yeah.
With like,
Which I think
Some
is to their
asterisks.
credit.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's a
I
good
agree.
thing.
I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Like especially in like with all the cinematic universe stuff going on with Marvel and whatnot. I know this wasn't okay. It kind of was a thing with Shang-Chi, but with this one, just watching it and be like, okay, that's all. That's all there is.
I've had an issue, and this is my personal hang-up. This isn't a dig on the movies themselves, but every movie that's come out after Endgame, I go, if you don't tell me which characters were snapped and which weren't, I have a hard time watching it. 'Cause I feel like that's a major thing. Like I feel like even getting back into life, it's like, oh my God, you had COVID? It's like, yeah, I did. Like March of last year, it was real bad and stuff like that. It's like, oh my God, how was that? To think that 50% of the universe disappeared for 5 years
Yeah.
and then came back
Mhm.
and it was only mildly addressed with some refugee talk in Captain America and the Winter Soldier, right? Like that's the only thing it's really been addressed in. I'm like, even in Shang-Chi, it's like they're talking about with their friends and they're out to dinner, and I'm like, so were you guys snapped?
All of them.
Who was snapped? I need to know who was snapped.
It's
And
so
just-
big.
It's a personal hang up that when you watch Venom, you don't have to worry about who was snapped.
Yeah.
No
This is a
snapping.
different universe or a different dimension.
We talked about this before recording the podcast, and I'm already nervous to
Okay.
say it because I know that people are gonna get mad because people care a lot.
Yeah, people love Venom.
Should I do it, Venom?
Do it. Oh yes, Armando, do it.
Like it. I am not a huge fan of Marvel. movies. Yeah.
Like the MCU
Just
Marvel stuff,
in
or
general.
Hot take here.
I'll start
general,
by saying
okay.
this. I don't think it's bad. I don't think that people shouldn't like it. I don't think it's for me.
Mhm.
I'm not a huge fan of
Nothing wrong
superhero
with that.
movies in general. The superhero stuff that I really like is stuff that takes a different take on it. Like I really liked Invincible. I really liked Watchmen.
Shazam.
Not so much.
Okay.
Mhm. Are there any Marvel things that were different that you did like? That were
Thor
different?
Ragnarok is really good.
Okay, you like Thor Ragnarok?
I
Yeah.
did
like that one
actually
too.
enjoy. Well, I enjoyed Spider Verse a lot.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
But a lot of just the general Marvel movies, I can't force myself to.
Well,
get
this is the
involved.
Samuk or whatever.
The what?
This is the Samuk.
Yeah, this is
Smack
not
you.
one of those. Is
Some
what
other.
we're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which is definitely to its credit.
Yeah, that's what. Well, that's the thing for me is that I have gotten to the point in the Marvel Cinematic Universe where I can't watch a mainstream Marvel thing, show, movie, or otherwise, because I don't even have the necessary information to watch that. And I finally hit peak that experience when watching Venom 2 in theater. They played a trailer for a new movie called The Eternals, and the plot of the Eternals is so tied to this Marvel Cinematic Universe that they have to spoil everything that's happened so far in the first 20 seconds of the trailer so that you're like, okay, I get, yeah, all that happened, whatever. And then the rest of the trailer is so self-referential to like other Marvel shit that I I can't tell you what the plot's
Yeah,
about.
I
I get the point that there's these gods, these like old gods that like maybe that's where superpowers come from or something, and then they've like laid dormant for centuries or
Well, I mean, I can tell you, having seen all of the movies, I haven't read the Eternals, but I don't know that trailer. I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
yeah.
I was like, were they snapped? Like, it seems silly, but I'm like, I feel like it's important that like this universe scale crisis took place, and they were like, we're sitting this one out. And I'm like, what's transpiring now that could be bigger than that?
Scary dog.
Scary dog,
with
Coming out of the
dog
ocean.
with wings.
Cloud
Yeah.
monster or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, it is kind of funny that they have to explain. Okay, this is why we couldn't be in all the other movies because we didn't exist yet or whatever. Anyways,
So
Venom.
They
think
do
that's
that in
okay.
the trailer.
Yeah.
They go, why didn't you come like help save the earth? And they just
Yeah.
kind of went, yeah, we were told not to.
I mean,
not
they
allowed
even that I think that happened within the Marvel movies anyway, because obviously you have to manage like it's like a steam valve that you're like having to let off steam in certain places or whatever. Because like even in the movies, like Captain Marvel, where were you? She's like, there's crime on other planets, right? And I'm like, yeah, but the guy who's gonna eviscerate 50% of the universe is here. So you can maybe stop like the muggers on planet Glaxion some other time. Like
You think she's fighting crime on the Venom planet?
maybe. So is it a planet? I
San
don't know.
Francisco.
The planet San Francisco.
Yeah.
So we should talk about Venom, though.
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
I don't think that's a
Well, that's what I really enjoyed about Venom is
Yeah.
that and again, we can talk about this later, maybe where it does tie in, but they're for the most part, and yeah, you made the joke earlier that I don't have to see any movie other than Venom, the first Venom, to understand Venom 2.
even that. Like
You
I
don't
feel
really
like you
need
kind of
to,
don't
yeah.
need to.
I went with somebody who didn't see Venom 2 and got all of it immediately.
Yeah.
Like,
Wait,
yeah.
They didn't.
They
oh,
didn't see Venom. They didn't
also?
see Venom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I don't think it really references anything other than that, like he's Venom and him are a thing together. Like he
yeah.
was with Michelle Williams and they're not anymore.
It
That's
also
it.
Well, yeah, their
does
relationship.
a lot of things again.
Yeah.
Oh,
like
yeah.
if you have seen Venom recently, you're like, hold on a minute, they're doing a lot of the same stuff.
A whole lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Michelle Williams, talk about just her talents being wasted on
Oh,
this
yeah.
shit.
I know.
It's just like, why did they get this world-class actress to be in this
Yeah.
piece of...
She's getting paid though. Everyone's getting paid.
Yeah.
Andy Serkis is getting paid.
Andy
I mean, there's a
Serkis.
lot of talent.
Andy Serkis
I
is-
forgot until the end of the movie.
that he directed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is his what he made Mowgli, that the Jungle Book.
The horrific
adaptation.
looking animals. Have
But
you
it's-
seen any of those animals in that movie?
I've seen Mowgli.
Where they
and
have
those-
human faces and it's
Yeah.
just like, it's so
Yeah.
off putting.
But yeah,
pull
it's
it up.
crazy that he went from that to this, and this is his big superhero debut.
His
And you
magnum
could tell
opus.
he was just like sitting with the executives, being like, "I'm going to give the people what they want, and I'm going to get butts and seats." And it is remarkable how stupid it is at every turn, in a good way, I would say.
I would say, we can get into the plot if we want to, but broadly, Venom, Let There Be Carnage is more intentionally stupid
Yeah,
than the first one was that people gave the first one credit for being.
Mhm.
yeah. No, they absolutely were like, "We're going to embrace this."
I think the first one wasn't made to be like, this is going to be stupid. Like
Yeah.
people are going to be like, oh, the interaction between Venom and Eddie is like dumb. Like it's like two idiots arguing with each other. I don't think that that's how they imagined it when they were making it. In this one, I do think that we're going to lean into it. It's going to be stupid. He's going to be making breakfast for Eddie and like they're
Oh my
going to talk
God.
about
Singing a song.
they're going to be talking about their kitchens, and Venom's just a dim-witted idiot, and Eddie kind of is too.
Right.
And, like they're perfectly wrong. Nobody else could ever be with these two, so they have to be together.
Yeah.
And that's why I like the dynamic of it's like an odd couple a bromance movie where they're breaking up all the time. And there's a charm to it.
I like that too, but on the flip side, then the movie goes, maybe we should separate them. And I'm like,
Yeah.
come on.
Oh, I
Yeah,
love when they break up.
I'm like,
Yeah.
you finally had us bought into their dynamic, and then they break up, which also, as far as I'm aware, breaks all the rules that they established in
Right.
Venom about how Venom works.
Yeah, the symbiote.
Yeah, I mean,
shit.
Yeah, okay. I was wondering that same thing, right? Because he just jumps from body to body using basically anyone.
He just used them until they died, which is technically something that the symbiote does in the first movie. It's that it can't just merge with anyone because otherwise they'll die. But the assumption is that they don't become a venom. It's a non-compatible relationship. So it goes in because the first movie they have a bunch of homeless people and Riz Ahmed experiments on them because he's trying to create a symbiotic relationship. And then so he brings in these homeless people and then he'll put the thing in it and then it'll just kill them because it doesn't work. And then they'll go like, oh, we got to quickly put this thing back in its little safety cage because it can't. Our environment is inhospitable unless it is sharing our system or whatever. And it just so happens that Eddie Brock is like the first one.
Because he's an everyman.
I don't know what they never actually say why, as far as I recall, but it just so happens that it goes to him and it's like, oh, it's like it works. It kind of works. And so they can both exist together in a symbiotic relationship. And so then that's when together they become this Venom entity. Otherwise, it's just a blob on the ground. In this movie, Venom says, I'm leaving you, Eddie, and then throws himself out a window and then just finds the first person walking and then just becomes Venom. And then the new rule is like, oh, well, if he's not eating heads, he's not eating brains, then he runs out of energy.
Yeah.
And so then eventually he leaves like a pretty big body count hopping from innocent person to innocent person just for the sake of going out on the town.
Yeah. So all he can do is just go from body. I guess like there's still like some rules there. Like he just can't last very long in all these other bodies, but
he does turn into a full Venom.
He does go full Venom
when he's at he's at a rave.
As far as I'm aware, he's the only. It's not like the other guys. Like, hey, what are you doing inside of me? What's going on or whatever? With the exception of one moment, which is the highlight for me of the whole film, which we can get to later on.
Yeah. And even then, I think it's questionable whether or not that person had control.
I guess maybe. There's some sass to it that seemed in line.
But okay.
Which I enjoyed some of that, where it's just him just walking around being kind of a fish out of water without Eddie to kind of be a human perspective.
I did love seeing full Venom covered in glow sticks.
Yeah.
What they tried to make look like an underground rave. I also love when a movie goes, this is what a party looks like.
What a party looks like, yeah.
Everyone's just having a good time. Just dancing.
The set production for every single regular person party is so insane.
Yeah. Also, somewhere out there, screenwriters are so grateful for Jessica Negri and people like her who with the talent for creating costuming and stuff and like just making these incredible things, because now any screenwriter, the new I don't have reception is great cosplay. Right? Like it's a 9 foot tall like entity with tentacles flopping around that's like with a moping mouth, and someone just goes, nice cosplay, dude, and it's just everything's fine. Like there are no questions asked.
Why was it a costume party? They didn't.
Some people were in kinds of costumes.
Yeah, they did not elaborate that it was Halloween at all.
No, I'm just making that excuse for the movie.
I guess it made sense to me because the movie came out in October.
I mean, there are people at that party that were in costumes. No, it was like I'm wearing like a stupid like mask or whatever.
One time I went to like this hip Hollywood party in some backyard or something, and then I came kind of how I am right now, and then somebody came up to me and goes, "Hey, I like your costume." I'm like, yeah, thanks. Yeah, I came as someone who doesn't give a fuck.
Anything could be a costume.
You always look like you're about to do something really bad in like a viral video.
A Russian viral video. Okay.
I don't know what it is.
Compliment.
Yeah. You're like a guy who's about to rip an early version of Venom or something and watch it.
He'd never do that.
We would never need to do that because all of us can afford a movie ticket. And the way that we're able to do that is by having our wonderful sponsors. So let's hear a word from them now. Are you still going to the post office and paying full price for postage? Why? You do not have to live this way. With Stamps.com, you can ship mail anytime, anywhere, right from your computer. Letters, packages, paying less. That's right. Get discounted rates from USPS, UPS, and more. Stamps.com offers up to 40% off post office rates and up to 66% off UPS shipping rates. I use Stamps.com pretty much every single day to send merch out from my own podcast, and honestly, now even just packages I send out to whoever. It's so much easier than going to the actual post office. They make it easy for small businesses to mail and ship, print official U.S. postage, and shipping labels 24/7. All you need is your computer and a printer. So stop wasting time going to the post office and go to stamps.com instead. There's no risk, and with promo code DUDE, you get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Go to stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in DUDE. That's stamps.com, promo code DUDE. Stamps.com. Never go to the post office again.
What would you do if you were free of high-interest loans or credit card debt? With Upstart, you can pay off your existing debt quickly with a personal loan and start living your life. Over 1 million people have used Upstart to get one fixed monthly payment with a clear payoff date, whether it's for paying off credit cards, consolidating high-interest debt, or funding personal expenses. Rather than looking at just your credit score alone, Upstart considers other factors like your income, current employment, and credit history to find a smarter loan rate for you. You can check your rate without impacting your credit score in minutes for loans between $1,000 to $50,000. Find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/dude. That's upstart.com/DUDE. Don't forget to use our URL to let them know we sent you. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and other certain information provided in your loan application. Upstart.com/dude.
Going online without ExpressVPN is like leaving your kids with the nearest stranger while using the restroom. Most of the time, it's probably fine, but you never truly know. Connecting to an unencrypted network is similar. Your online data isn't secured. Any hacker on that network can gain access to and steal your personal data, passwords, financial details, etc. ExpressVPN created an encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet so hackers can't steal your data. It'd take a hacker with a supercomputer over 1 billion years to get past ExpressVPN's encryption. Plus, it's easy to use. Just one click and you're protected. You know those weird targeted ads from when your devices are listening to you? ExpressVPN will keep that stuff from creeping up on your timelines. Secure your data online today by visiting expressvpn.com/dude. That's expressvpn.com/dude. And you can get an extra 3 months free. expressvpn.com/dude.
And we're back. We're still talking Venom 2. Let There Be Carnage.
Let me throw some on the table. Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
I like Woody Harrelson.
Do you like
Good.
Woody Harrelson?
I like Woody
I like
Harrelson.
him. I like
in
him.
general,
I like
love
Woody,
him.
Woody Harrelson.
Okay. I liked Woody Harrelson.
Hmm.
I do think that maybe we're cast, and this isn't this movie's fault because the precedent was set that Woody Harrelson was Cletus Cassidy in the last movie,
Mhm.
and it was almost like a throwaway.
Well,
But
we've
Woody Harrelson.
never replaced a person before.
I remember in the 90s when Carnage was big, he was like Woody Harrelson was like celebrity cast at it was like, because he sounds like because that was like the thing. You go like he sounds like, and it still feels like he was celebrity cast in some ways.
Okay.
I think he did a great job. I thought he was very fun to watch, but I do think there's probably someone else out there who might have made a better foil for Tom Hardy
Yeah.
or like something than him. He feels he's pretty old.
How
Yeah.
old was he supposed to be?
That's a good, I don't know, because she seems
Young.
younger.
Yeah. But they were supposed to be kids at the same age.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
don't
also,
know.
yeah.
I got a like natural
You're talking
born
about
killer
Naomi Harris.
vibes, you know, like
yeah.
it almost like they're trying to like play off his character in that movie with him and his girl
Yeah.
there.
Oh, that makes sense.
Which is, I
yeah.
think, also
Oh, God.
why in the 90s he was people were celebrity casting him as Carnage.
Can
Makes
you,
sense.
Lindsay, can you put this up on the screen really quick? I
Yeah.
forgot that I Googled this. It was the animal faces from Mowgli.
Oh God.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Andy.
This is a nightmare.
Yeah, I just opened my laptop
That's a
up and
nightmare.
unlocked it.
It
and
looks
saw
like
that.
it looks like those memes where somebody put like human eyes and lips
Yeah,
on a dog.
fucking dog.
Andy
This is
Serkis
what-
directorial
That's what they
debut,
all
everyone.
look
This
like.
is what it looks like when you like go outside to smoke a joint and come back in, and your animal is like, "So you went outside without me, huh?"
Andy Cortez on
Thank
his
you.
streams does things where he'll cut out the eyes or the mouths of like Mario or something, and it looks just like that's what it looks like. Like someone just did like a feathering around the face.
No,
That's terrifying.
Every animal in Mowgli looks
You gotta
like
see that movie.
I really need to see it now.
Andy Serkis, make more horrifying, make a scary movie.
I think I would want to see that and probably really enjoy it because I don't think it did very well.
No, it did awful.
Which is a weird. It shouldn't be a qualifier, but for me, as a qualifier for movies, is how successful they were.
Uh-huh.
Because Venom, Let There Be Carnage, as well as the first one, are both very successful. Like the second one is probably going to be maybe not more because of the pandemic, but like it's doing really well. And when a movie like that, because I do agree with people that are like, if you just you could just enjoy things. It doesn't have to be perfect, and you can just enjoy it. And I think this movie hits that note. You could just watch it.
Well,
and
it's a
enjoy
very
it.
specific kind of hitting that note because
Yeah.
there's people that, it's like, all right, if you just give yourself over to this movie, but this one I feel like, and we kind of talked about it, is like almost going out of their way to make that kind of cinema. And there's something to be said for how intentional all this stuff is.
Yeah.
But bigger than that, it's the people who write the checks look at that and they go, oh, Venom Let There Be Carnage is a blueprint for success. And as much as I love Cats, saw Cats twice in theaters, the only reason I can truly enjoy it is because it failed miserably.
Yes.
Right? No one's ever going to look at that and say we should do that again, or we should use that as a blueprint for what's to come.
We should 100% do it again, but add in those buttholes again.
I agree. Listen, I agree we should get sequels and sequels to Cats, but only
No, not
if they
sequels, just
all
the butthole
fail.
cut.
Only if they all fail.
Right.
That's like a weird qualifier in my brain.
So it's like a situation where like Twilight makes too much money, and
yeah.
then that creates a path for
Yes.
50 Shades of Grey
Exactly.
to continue to be successful.
That's kind of how I personally feel about these things that are so bad that they're good. I want so bad that they're good. It aired on Cinemax in 1987, and like no one ever saw it, and it just kind of came and went. And now you discover, it, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So, Dune is going to probably fail.
Yeah.
You think?
Dune is probably going to be pretty awesome, and it's going to suck because we're going to get more Venom type movies and less Dune type movies.
I think Dune's going to make a lot of
I
money.
was like,
You
when
think?
I was looking
Yeah.
for,
I hope so.
I was looking to buy tickets for it, and I had like the day that it became available, I waited till like the end of the day, and it was hard till I actually find seats.
But we're in Los
That's good.
Angeles.
That's true.
And
That
none
is
of
true.
none of what we see here matters at
That is
all.
true.
Plus, Oscar Isaac just showed his fucking big ol' hog.
Yeah.
Scenes from a
Scenes
Marriage.
from a Marriage.
So that's going to make everyone want to go see
Okay.
Dune.
Mhm.
All right.
Mhm.
I don't know if
I'm
it
trying
will,
to see
because
that.
you're
I'm
trying
tr-
to see a new sandworm.
I'm trying to. Yeah, hell yeah.
I don't know how you didn't get there.
I was trying to, but you
Yeah.
kept talking.
So anyway, that's just like one of those weird, like movie politics of filmmaking things that are really hard for me to get, because I do think Venom, Let There Be Carnage, is a fun movie. It's 90 minutes long. You're in and out of there in no time.
Beautiful.
Honestly, the 90-minute thing is huge because, in my opinion, if to save cinema, okay, I think that more just exactly 90-minute movies
agree.
should get made. Only because people's tastes and behaviors have changed so much in the last 10 years where so many people that would have watched a 2-hour movie and not blinked, 10 years ago, like, God, I don't know about that anymore. But it's like 90 minutes, you just tell them that, and it's like, oh, I can put this on and get it in and out.
I
pretty
watched
easily.
Chicken Run this weekend.
There you
Oh,
go.
fuck
90
yeah.
minutes.
Great
just
movie.
Beautiful.
Great movie.
Yeah,
Great
well,
movie.
when you have to move everything by hand, they're like 90 minutes.
Yeah, please, please.
I
We're not
forget-
Leica.
Yeah.
We talked about it in a video, but I love how Chicken Run is an allegory for Nazi Germany. And
Yeah.
then they were like, let's put Mel Gibson in that.
No, they didn't know. They
let's
didn't
put Melly
realize
Mel in
that
there.
was-
That was pre-drunk DUI, I think.
They didn't know.
No, but he was still racist.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I mean, it wasn't before
Somebody
the
knew.
racism
Yeah.
and the anti-Semitism. I really like a fun movie.
Oh, me too.
I did enjoy watching Carnage. I also
But you thought it was caca. That's what you said. That's a direct quote.
That's quote.
Yeah, but I like caca stuff.
Oh.
Caca can be fun.
Yeah,
Okay, it's a
caca can
weird
be really
fetish.
fun. I used to be one of those dudes who's like, I listen to real music.
Mhm.
And I was really annoying and shitty and stupid, but because I was.
And then what happened?
I went to a Young Thug concert. And I thought I was better than it. And then Young Thug came out and put on the best show I had ever seen. And everyone in the audience was like, people that were really, really into music. And I was having great conversations before the show where people, because I was at a festival. And like half the people there, I had seen them at like Charles Bradley's show. And I was like, fuck yeah. And everyone was like, yeah, it's just a fun time. I don't come here. I'm not listening to Young Thug because I want to be like stimulated. I'm listening to it because I want to see some ass.
I want to
Yeah.
party.
Yeah.
Well, Radiohead released like a new track
Yeah.
or whatever, and I listen in college. Radiohead
You don't like it?
all through it. But I was like, okay. But when's Gaga gonna drop it? Like
Okay.
I love commercial shit too.
Yeah.
You know, I'm totally down for that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like, yeah, this to me, it wasn't as good as Young Thug. I'll say that. That's my official.
Venom
That's
2.
fair.
Venom
wasn't
2, not as
Young
good as
Thug.
Young Thug.
Yeah.
But it was fun. I mean, I had a fun time. I showed
Mm.
up at the movie theater. The person that I went with, she said, "How long is this movie?" And I said, "It's an hour and a half." She goes, "There's no fucking way. That's too short of a movie.
Yeah.
That's not even a movie. It is.
Mm-hmm.
It is an hour and 37
And
minutes
it's
exactly."
a fully coherent story told beginning to end.
One
And it's not a
thing-
joke. I mean, like I think people think you can't, but you absolutely can.
Well, this is not Venom's fault.
Mhm.
But to your point of being fully coherent, in the theater that we watched it at the AMC Sunset, and there was an issue with the file in the theater. And I this is not like Ryan's thing, whether or not he watched it in a theater, yeah, sure, whatever. I went to the AMC on Sunset across the street from the Laugh Factory. I paid money for a ticket. I paid extra money for one of the Oktoberfest Sam Adams. Like, I went to the theater. Whatever file they had at the theater was fucked because throughout the movie, towards the end, the dialogue only, not the sound, not like the soundtrack, nothing else, just the dialogue would pop and then it would sound like it was in the other room. So like Woody Harrelson would be talking and he'd be like, yeah, I told you the chapel over.
I hope you got your money back.
I did.
All right.
But yeah,
perfect.
it sounded like they put a low pass filter on everything. And it made the movie so much better because I realized that even though you can't hear them talking, it still makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the movie is so predictable that it wrote itself.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's good because there were some parts that were audible that were
Yeah.
like horribly ADR'd and it was really obvious.
Yeah.
Like it's a part where
Yeah, we actually had to hear the fucking shit there.
where Carnage and does that Naomi Harris character have a name? Shriek.
Yeah.
Is that said in the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Twice.
It's when she goes, ah!
But I had to catch it because they said Shriek, and I was like, what? They called her by a different fucking name. Why does she have a name?
I must have missed that somehow.
No, because she has like a name.
Yeah.
Then that's what they reference her as the entire
Francis
time.
or something.
Francis FB.
FB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Francis Bean, yes.
Yeah, but there's a part where like they burn down a mansion, big like or they burn down like their old
The old orphanage.
orphanage, yeah,
Or the school for
and they're
troubled
just like,
kids.
yeah, they're just having a good time, like, oh, we're being villainous, and they're like yelling over the flames and stuff, and then before it goes to the next scene, you hear Woody Harrelson, and who said love was dead? As he's facing away from the camera,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, oh, that was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite line was when Carnage is like kicking Venom and he goes, or kicking Tom Hardy. He's like, that's just bad journalism.
Oh my
In the
god.
climax,
That's so
Yeah,
fantastic. Can we get to spoilers yet?
Yeah, sure. Let's talk about the plot.
My favorite part of the movie was that throughout the entirety of the film, they show that Tom Hardy or Eddie Brock and Venom cannot get together.
Yeah.
They refuse to work together. They can't agree on anything. And even when they kind of agree on things, like you have to eat the chickens, he's like, that's Cher and Sonny, they're best friends.
Mhm.
The entire movie is about how they can't work together to the point where they have a breakup that seems more romantic than anything, with like Venom being like, I wish Eddie was here to see me. That's the entirety of the movie. And then the movie has the audacity to, in the big fight, Eddie and Venom are looking up and Venom goes, or Eddie looks up and goes, look, they're not able to work together like we are. And that's what gives him the strength to beat Carnage and Cletus.
Yeah.
You don't know what you got till it's gone.
They but they don't ever have it.
That's
the only reason they pull together to fight is because Eddie goes, "I'll let you eat his head." That's it.
Yeah.
But I think that's I think a major failing of the movie. I think this is why like you can enjoy it, but it's not. I would never call it good. Is because you're supposed to go, oh, this is them telling you, this is the movie's way of telling you that they've resolved whatever their issues are. But they didn't really.
Yeah.
Like they didn't really. And that's kind of a symptom throughout because their resolution is Venom goes, make him apologize to me. Like he's in Michelle Williams again. Yeah. She becomes Lady Venom again.
I thought they were doing something different there.
Well, I was say, and then he's like, all right, the only way we can resolve this is if Eddie just says he's sorry and he really means it and he apologizes to me. And I'm like, this is a two-way street because Venom is fucking up his shit constantly. Like he can't even walk through his life at all. He is depressed and he's dealing with some major issues, but you do see, I think the movie gets confused about relationships and like what is a character personality because like the beginning of the movie, Michelle Williams, who is Eddie Brock's ex-fiance, and who got into a new relationship at the beginning of the movie of the first movie, reveals that she is now engaged. And she wants to tell him in the shittiest way possible, by the way.
In her phone call to him, she's like, hey, Eddie, let's go meet up.
Big news, big boy, or whatever. And she's like, will you meet me for dinner? It's going to be so romantic. And he's like, okay. And then he's like thinking like, oh my gosh, like this is my opening. Like I've given her space and maybe now she wants to come back to me. And then she immediately goes, I'm engaged. And he's like, and his response is kind of mature for someone who's pretty heartbroken in a lot of ways. Like he's like, oh wow, and she's like, you can't even lie to me about how happy you are.
And she starts shitting on him.
And then he's like, oh no, like I'm super happy for you. And then the internal monologue, you hear him talking with Venom, who's like, you're lying, Eddie, and all this stuff. And then later on, she goes, I can't believe you're lying to me right now. And he's like, you asked me to lie. he's like, and then he's like, what do you want? And she's like, oh, you should just go. And he's like, all right, I'm going to go. Like, I don't know. He's dealing with shit, but they're just so much
terrible.
She's like, tell Venom, I want to speak to Venom right now, too.
Oh, yeah. Venom's there, isn't he?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
It's like, okay. I didn't tell you. Sorry, I didn't keep you abreast of the symbiote that's in my life because you, by the way, wanted to break things off.
To your earlier point, by the way, every response that he has in that conversation is rational until Venom starts fucking with him.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, I think the movie forgets that like there are two parties here, and I think like when people say, "Oh, it's like a romantic comedy," like a good romantic comedy is you have two very different people that figure out how they best work together in the end. And this movie kind of doesn't ever build to that in a satisfying way other than trying to trick you at the end by saying, look, things aren't working out. Carnage and Cletus Cassidy have a much healthier relationship. Much healthier relationship.
Off the bat.
Comparatively to the two of them.
Agree.
And the movie doesn't want to do the legwork to try and show you that. I think that's what a lot of it is.
I gave the movie too much credit during the apology scene, and I'm now realizing I misunderstood that. I thought that Venom was asking for an apology in the body of his ex to force Tom Hardy to give a convincing apology to her. Does that? Because that's. But I think
she was definitely on Venom's side on that because she has also felt wronged by Eddie, and so it's kind of like a double down. But I don't think that was just a weird.
Yeah,
like it just made Eddie feel shitty, and I don't think that he's a doofus, and I also in the first movie he's like a complete moron. But like I don't think that he necessarily deserves getting shit on. In certain ways, when the movie chooses to shit on him, it's like almost like at the wrong time. It's like he tried to do the right thing, and then the movie's like, "You idiot!"
Oh yeah, that's all. I mean is I was watching that scene and gave it more nuance than it deserved.
Well, you eventually get the stuff with like Carnage and Cletus start having their troubles towards the end. It's kind of like this weird manufactured conflict.
Well,
to get rid of Naomi or Shriek.
Yeah,
which also is too. It's like okay, she's like again in Carnage's defense. her magic power is literally his weakness.
Piercing, screaming sound.
And then he goes, "Don't do that." Just don't do that. I got it.
Yeah.
I can literally handle this without you. As long as you just shut up, I can handle this. And she's like, understood. And then screams at him. And he's like, shut up. He like gives her like 3 warnings. And she just continues to do it until eventually he's so fed up with the whole process that like he basically like says, all right, I'm going to kill her. I'm going to kill her. And then Woody Harrelson's like, you can't kill her. I'm in love with her.
Yeah.
Like, but I mean, to me, that's pretty justifiable Carnage action.
Yeah,
Like, just
give
shut
him
up.
Plenty of warnings.
What the fuck happened to her eye? Like, I know she got
She
shot.
got shot.
But, like, why did it just change color?
That's what happens when you get shot in your eye.
Oh.
It changes color.
He was
No,
like
I
a
don't know.
cyber.
They should tell that to the guy I'm named after. That fucker just died.
Yeah, I don't know. And then also she had an unnecessary, like she had history with that cop.
That's the
She
cop that
was-
shot her.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Who is also the cop who's the New York detective living in San
Born
Francisco.
and raised.
And so like it was just, that's what the movie had. Like it just says to you at a certain point, she's like, I hate that cop. And you're like, I mean, why? Like you knocked him, you were in a van and you screamed at him and his gun went off and then you got shot.
Yeah.
Like,
he
I
looked
mean-
at him and said, any last words?
Any
Yeah, you
last
basically tried to murder
words, she
him, and
says?
he accidentally fumbling tried to defend himself or whatever. It just feel like it's just a weird thing. And the movie goes, all she wants is revenge against that cop, and I'm like, why? It's because we told you so. Even Eddie and Cletus,
Their
their
beef
relationship
makes
is
no sense.
is wild to me because in the first movie, at the end, Eddie goes to say, like Cletus reaches out to him and goes like he wants to talk to Eddie and only Eddie, and Eddie's like, why me? And it's like because he does unorthodox journalism or something like that. He wants to find some different avenues into the media. That makes sense. But now when we pick up in the second one, it seems like they've been doing this a lot.
Uh-huh.
But Eddie's whole thing, and he's upfront with them the time we see them talking. He's like, tell me information about where the body is. You're a serial killer.
Yeah.
You've been tried and convicted
Ryan.
for being a murderer
Yeah.
of a lot of people.
You have done this.
And so tell me where the bodies are buried so that way these families can get some closure. And he's like, if you print this complete random poem in a newspaper, then I'll give you all the information you want. And he's like, okay. But then as he's leaving, he drew on the walls of his cell all of the locations.
All the clues.
Mm-hmm.
And then so in his open cell,
And he saw Tom Hardy looking at it,
and
too.
he saw him look at it, and then Venom went home and said, hey, we're going to print that thing that he asks, but also why don't we just see if we can find where those locations
I
are?
forgot about the speed drawing.
And then
scene.
Venom apparently has the power
That
to
was
speed draw
cool.
with his ink hands.
That was really cool.
And-
No, but the first time he just
It's really
did it with
goofy.
Sharpie.
Yeah, but then later on, he just uses his
which
stuff.
is like, why didn't you do that? It's fine.
So anyway, they figure out where the bodies are buried, and Eddie goes like, "Oh, it's here. It's the drawing that he drew on his wall." There's an exact Google image search that is that exact drawing.
It's a Rise of Skywalker thing with the knife.
Yeah. And so he's like, "Oh, they're probably there." And they find them like, "Oh my God, all the bodies are here." And then Cletus is like, "You've betrayed me, Eddie." And I'm like, "You drew a drawing. You drew a treasure map of the bodies on your wall, and now you want to kill the guy who looked at it?" Like, I don't know. It's very forced.
Yeah.
And then they're also like, they found the bodies, so now we're gonna execute them. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's not how
It's
the justice system works.
Yeah,
like,
he should be
he's
there for-
already been tried and convicted.
Yeah.
He's in jail already.
That's the unrealistic part is he should be in jail for another 16 years before his execution.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
we
I don't know.
spent
It's just
$20
it's
million.
stuff like, and then of course how he becomes Carnage is so convoluted. He bites him like that. I don't know. He's like such a lazy.
I tasted a lot of blood, Eddie.
Yeah.
It's not blood.
Okay.
Someone's got a secret.
Yeah.
I
like how you said it
The
more.
sketch, the montage of the little art sketch was
Yeah.
really cool.
Mhm.
It was,
The
it was
fast
fun.
one?
Not just the fast one. Wasn't there?
Well, it's more he uses like goopy hands to like
Yeah.
make the little overlay.
It's one of those things where if the movie wasn't going to make $500 million, you'd be like, I love this.
yeah, it's really corny.
And then don't forget, later on in the movie, how does Carnage figure out where Shriek is? He uses the Carnage Web. He sticks his
Oh
Carnage
my
tentacles inside of the
God.
computer and
You're
creates his
right.
own browser
I
interface
forgot about that, and I loved it.
to go into the Carnage. It's not
Yeah.
like he just controls the computer. He
Yeah.
actually sticks his tentacles And someone pointed out that I guess that's in the comics somewhere, and I'm like, there's a lot in comics. That doesn't mean it makes any sense or is good.
It even had cool like red Carnage graphics and
Yeah.
stuff when it was showing all the information you need going.
Yeah, it's the Carnage UI.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
even put its own little desktop icon on the computer when
hey,
it's done with it.
That's what I call a GUI. Am I right?
There's I don't know. This is probably not even worth bringing up, but there is this part where Carnage uses his finger to hotwire that car, and then later they hop in the same car, and Shriek is able to just turn the key to get it going, which means that did he leave
No
part of his
continuity.
fucking finger in it? I know. Again, there's so many other problems before that one.
Yeah.
But it stuck out to me. That and the Carnage Web, the internet, is what really fucked me up.
There's just a lot of moments where you're like, you see people actively saying like, "Who cares?" or like, "People are so stupid they won't notice."
Yeah.
like a magician. I don't think a good magician is how I like my movies to be, like magic. I don't think a good magician says they're so stupid they won't see me pulling the dove out behind my back when I'm lighting a flame in my left hand. I don't think he goes, I need to make sure that I'm so quick and this distraction is so attractive that when I pull the pigeon out, they won't notice. Not they're all morons. This audience is stupid.
They're gonna buy the ticket anyway.
Yeah, he'll just
if
eat it up.
if the hand was him breaking into like a government building or something, sure, I would have been paying attention to that. But it's like a 7-Eleven. He goes in and just like kills a guy at a gas station, uses his laptop to find all these police records and stuff.
Yeah.
Which
You know,
makes
like-
no sense. Also, okay, maybe I missed this. Did Cletus know that she was still alive?
He finds out she's still alive.
But the
He
only reason
searches.
he printed the thing was to give her a message in the newspaper.
Credit to that. I feel like if you're in prison for 20 years or whatever, you get out, you'll probably be like, who do I know that's still alive? Right? Like, you might just start Googling names.
I didn't buy Tom Hardy's journalism pass at all in this film.
Okay.
Either.
Absolutely.
That's my nitpick.
bad
Is that
journalism.
you get 5 minutes in the first one of him like with a little camcorder going like, "Oh, I'm this."
He's man on the
reporter,
street,
I'm the
yeah.
man on the street.
Got a lot of
stuff.
videos.
And then they kind of just have like one line. It's like, "Oh, I used to be on TV and have a show." And I don't. Anyway, am I the only one that doesn't buy this character?
He's pretty well established as a horrible journalist in the first movie because
And in the second one,
he
again,
has his own show.
that's bad journalism, Eddie.
yeah, that's true.
Kick.
So I don't know, but again, this whole movie is redeemed for me by the fact that Mrs. Chen gets the Venom symbiote into her. We get
Yeah,
more
that was
insight
awesome.
into the world of Mrs. Chen. I think we do a spin-off show that's set entirely in that convenience store.
Mounting up for Mrs. Chin.
We do it. Yeah, checking in on Chen.
Checking
Just
it
don't
on
call
Chen.
it mounting Miss Chen.
Elise coined the term Chenum,
Oh,
which I
that's
think is
good.
great. But yeah, we get to see what it would look like if Mrs. Chen was a Venom.
That
and
was
it was great.
That was one of the best parts in the entire
Got the
movie.
biggest
'Cause
laughs out of me
Yeah.
for sure.
You know why? Because it felt like they literally arrived and they said, "We don't have any pages for today, so
Yeah.
just say whatever your character would say." Because that scene is really long, and it's like, normally dialogue is like it's a battle between the two characters, ultimately leading to either a victor or a compromise. And that was just like circling. It was just almost like they were just like talking in circles for a lot of it,
Yeah.
and then eventually they just kind of like agreed whatever.
And it felt kind of like almost properly set up because you learn that early in the movie that like Mrs. Chen knows who Venom is and that he exists. And then when she's being all defensive to Michelle Williams about Venom, I didn't initially think that Venom was controlling her. I thought she was just being defensive. But then you eventually realize with Michelle Williams, oh, Venom's controlling Mrs. Chen. And I was like, oh, this is fun.
Yeah.
And then like the goofy eyes and
It also means
That goofy eyes really fucked me up, though. I did not like that. It would make me very uncomfortable.
she also had to hide the body because he stums in and
He
is like,
probably
Mrs. Chen, help me, as just like a regular dude. And then that dude dies and she runs over and holds him. She's like, oh, Venom. I'm like, what about the dude who's dead?
She definitely, Venom ate that
That guy had
Yeah.
a family. Yeah.
he straight up kills several
they all
random
had
people.
family.
Honestly, that moment alone, when Venom is pinning the security guard, he goes, "I have a family," and then he gets. Or was that Carnage?
Oh, it's Carnage
That's
in the
Carnage.
prison, yeah.
I mean, that's a perfect embodiment of the spirit of this movie too.
Yeah,
That's like a line. That's a stupid line you see in other stuff,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they're like, "All right, we're gonna put it here," and then Yeah, that's the end of that guy's life.
Yeah.
We just know he has a family, and then it just makes his
Yeah.
murdering a little worse. But
Yeah.
it's like that's such a stupid way to do that, you know?
That should have been the
On
end
purpose
credit
stupid.
scene. It's
Oh,
a
yeah.
5-minute series of a child standing in a
Yeah.
window. Do you think he's coming home?
It should, it should be that guy's funeral.
Yeah.
The last 10 minutes.
It
of the
doesn't
movie.
tease anything.
No.
It just makes it worse.
That should be the post credits for every superhero movie. It's all the dead
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
died at the hands of the superheroes.
At the end of the movie, for me, the audio cut out during after they were able to defeat Eddie and or not Eddie, after they were able to defeat Cletus and Carnage. So I, instead of hearing whatever bullshit thing that they did, and I just filled it in with my brain and it was fine, but I just heard and then the audio cut right back in time to hear Venom yell, "Fuck this guy! I eat him now!" And that's the whole movie for me.
Yeah.
If the dialogue doesn't matter, and then Venom comes in swinging like just a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Venom is
Yeah.
me for an hour and a half, and I don't want to watch that.
Yeah.
How long is this podcast?
Also, cop guy,
Oh,
Yeah.
Mulligan?
Mulligan, he
Yeah.
gets blue eyes at
He
the
gets
end.
blue eyes.
He goes,
You know what the fuck is that about?
What's
He's
that?
a Venom too.
What?
He's a Venom too.
Yeah, he's all. I mean, that character in the comics is also a different Venom.
Are all of the Venom
What?
other characters also Venoms?
Well, because the first movie had Riot,
Right.
which is Riz Ahmed, which is another one of the aliens. This Carnage is just like I guess if you bite a Venom, a new Carnage. I don't know. They don't
Okay.
really explain. And then, but I don't know why he has blue eyes. There's nothing that, as far as I'm aware, transpired in the film based on the rules of the film that would explain how he was exposed.
He got
to
a chain
symbiote.
wrapped around.
Yeah, well, that's how you know that it's the purest Venom.
I guess so. But he also, what is this? It's something like Clash or some, I don't remember what his name is, but he's some sort of other symbiote, which means that
Okay.
if they do a Venom 3, he'll probably be the bad guy. And then we'll get to see more differently
No.
shaded exact same things fighting.
No, that's like, I mean, it might have been just because I watched the first one right before this.
Yeah.
Is that climaxes where just two blobs are hitting each other are so boring.
Carnage was red.
Yes.
The
Oh, that's
first
true.
one, the
That's
first
true.
one is like one is black and the other is dark gray,
Yeah.
and it's like, what is going on?
One is black with some gray in it, and one is mostly entirely gray.
yeah,
This is the last thing I'll say about the movie, but
Probably
I
won't be.
got very interested. This is the last thing I'll say on the podcast about
Okay.
the movie.
No,
we
Is-
still need to talk about the end.
Yeah.
we're running. Okay. Then I was really interested at the part of the movie where Venom finally sees Carnage and looks at
Oh,
it
yeah.
for the first time and goes, "Oh, fuck, it's a red one? No, fuck that." And gets really scared because I thought that they were going to explain some of like the weird hierarchy or something, or how a red one could come from Venom, and they skip past it totally.
No.
There's 2 points in the movie, that moment and the after credit scene, where something happens and I go, show me that. What's that about? I want to know that more. More, please. And then they don't. They just fucking move on and force a relationship between Eddie and Venom.
At least Cletus Cassidy also turned back into himself during that goofy scene, and then turned back into the big
Yeah.
red one for Venom.
Yeah.
Well, my Portuguese bootleg did not allow me to see the final scene, so I'm very
You
curious to
should
see
buy
what
a
happens.
ticket and go see it in theaters.
Okay.
A
Yeah,
second
that's the
ticket.
price you pay.
I'm gonna just let you guys tell me on this podcast
Okay.
right now.
All right.
Well, okay, so the final scene, Eddie has to flee to a beach,
Yeah.
and
Some
it's
island.
unclear why. They're like, Eddie, you got to go. I'm like, I'm pretty sure the only cop who was a witness to this is dead now.
Yeah.
Right?
Or
Like-
a Venom.
Question
Like
mark?
they saw Venom, but I don't know. Maybe someone can identify him as the
They-
previous Venom.
They have throughout the entirety of the film been referencing the fact that he is under investigation for the crimes of the first.
yeah,
That's
by a
right.
cop who is now dead.
Yes.
Blue eyes.
But the movie
Um,
does. I mean, the movie again. The point to the fucking key finger thing. Okay,
I know,
they
yeah,
don't
yeah.
give a shit.
So anyway, it goes, it's probably for the best if you go live on a beach
Yeah.
somewhere. And so then he's sitting on the beach with a iguana.
Nice iguana.
And then they
I like
have,
that.
and it plays like Jimmy Buffett or whatever, and then circles away, and
No,
then
what is it?
what
They
song is it?
played a song. It doesn't matter.
know.
Either way,
Yeah.
then the end credits is he's in a hotel room in whatever same tropical locale, and it's a garbage hotel room in like some hut somewhere. And then Venom starts lecturing him about how much he's seen of the universe because he's this intergalactic being. And Eddie couldn't possibly comprehend any of that. Just, again, really abusive relationship. Not symbiotic at all. And then Eddie goes, well, why don't you give me some? Why don't you show me some? And he's like, okay, Eddie, I'll show you just a glimpse. And then he does that, but at the same time, the whole world flashes a yellow color, which looks a lot like the same color that Doctor Strange generally uses when he does stuff. And if you've seen the Spider-Man trailer, there's a flash in that when he changes the dimensions or whatever.
Yeah.
And so that same flash happens, and then now they're in a new, nicer hotel room with a similar layout that and on the flat screen TV that wasn't there before is J. Jonah Jameson talking about Spider-Man and how it's actually Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and they walk up to the TV and they just mumble about how they're already drawn to him in some sort of way. And then a guy in a towel, a middle-aged dude in a towel, comes out of the bathroom and goes, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, "Oh," and then it ends. So the implication being that he was just magically transported into a world, the Marvel world. The Marvel Cinematic Universe world.
Got it.
A flash of light did it.
So this is multiverse stuff.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's multiverse.
So Spider-Man didn't exist in Eddie Brock's old universe.
But it's unclear how any of this is going to fit in yet, because if it is the Flash from when Doctor Strange changes everything in the trailer, then there wouldn't be a news story about Peter Parker as Spider-Man because the whole purpose of the Flash was to make that not be the case.
And the TV, like he's got his mask off and he's in the costume, which isn't in any of the
Or
movies.
it's a Flash from the end of the Spider-Man movie where things go back to the way they were, or it's a different Flash altogether. Either way, we've shown that now you can make something completely unrelated and then show a scene where someone snaps their fingers and goes, voila, it's related.
Or just giving it too much credit and they just used a shot from the trailer and put it on the TV.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it feels like. It feels very much after the fact.
The Spider-Man movie exists in the Venom universe.
Maybe.
Oh, they go to watch Spider-Man at the movies?
It's not seamless, and it doesn't have anything to do with Morbius, and so I consider it one of the absolute worst end credit sequences. Is that Jared calling?
No, it says I need to buy a donut.
No, we cannot elaborate on that at all. You need to end this podcast right now.
Okay. All right. I tried finding the cover of the song that they played because it's like a Latin cover of a song, and I know the song and I can't remember what it was. But when I realized what song it was a cover of, it made me insanely mad. Okay. And I can't find it now.
It's Toxin. That's what the
Toxin.
cop turns into. It's the synonym for Venom. How about that?
Toxin?
Know that you're Toxin.
Nice.
That's the one.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Toxin here.
Anyway, now that we've covered Venom 2, we can start the podcast.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Hi, I'm Ryan.
I'm Armando.
We're out of time, guys.
That's it. We spent the whole podcast talking about Venom 2. That's almost 2/3 of the length of the film.
Yeah, I fell asleep for 20 seconds, which is about 1/5 of the film.
No, that's lame. I didn't fall asleep. I wasn't bored.
Me neither.
Final thoughts. I wasn't bored. I didn't fall asleep. And if it hadn't made hundreds of millions of dollars, I'd probably be like, yeah, you should just watch it.
It's the perfect movie to watch hungover because your brain doesn't have to work too hard, and there isn't a bunch of flashes of light until the end.
Might be better drunk than hungover.
Oh yeah, definitely. Most things are.
So,
Ryan,
I liked it more than I thought I would, but it also is very stupid.
you have such a beautiful way with words.
You're a poet.
Thank you. I'm articulate.
This has been the Ryan Haley podcast.
No, it is not.
Thank you for having us join you, Ryan.
You're welcome.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Oh, Venom.
Do not laugh.